although our main focus is to support people with sensory loss, I want to raise awareness across the whole community about what it's like to live with sensory loss, what challenges people face and what amazing inspirational people that we have in the centre.
I sort of work closely with Jacqueline Winning, who's the centre manager here, and also with the board of the Forth Valley Sensory Centre to try and make sure that we collaborate and are able to maximise both our resources as RNIB in Scotland along with the resources that are from the centre to try and make sure that the individuals coming in, blind part sight people and deaf of hard of hearing people, are able to get access to as many opportunities as they can.
I've been involved with the centre from day one. Was part of the team initially who were involved in the design of the centre and how it was going to be set up when they got the funding.
Every organisation that's represented here in the partnership are invited along, so we meet every couple of months, and that's a great opportunity to share ideas, what's happening in every service. We want to avoid duplication, we want to find ways that we can work more smartly together, we can face challenges together, and when we do that, sometimes it's easier to break down barriers and to overcome the challenges that we come up against.
RNIB is one of the original partners. The Forth Valley Sensory Centre Partnership was set up, I believe, about 15 years ago, a bit before my time, and it brought together Action on Hearing Loss, ourselves as RNIB Scotland, along with Forth Valley Health Board and 3 Forth Valley councils, Stirling, Clackmannanshire and Falkirk. The idea was to try and tie together the different elements of those organisations that work with people with sight loss and also people who are hard of hearing to try and create a joined up sort of organisation, which is Forth Valley Sensory Centre, to allow us to reach those individuals with all our different services and opportunities that we can give to them.
It's like every other project that you do, there's a lot of communication, and people were nominated to go to meetings and talk about what was the aims of the centre, what did they want to do, what would the setup be like, you know, in terms of the ground. So Falkirk Council were the lead in terms of donating the ground and things like that, so they gave permissions around that, and it was a big lottery fund gave a capital grant in terms of the building. So there's obviously a lot of communication in that, and that's the main thing. People sit round the table and talk to each other and say, right, okay, this is our target audience, what do we want to do for this group of people?
This is a win-win situation, and the reason for that is because we in the third sector are well placed to draw down pockets of funding that wouldn't be appropriate for statutory services to draw down. So for example, recently we were really fortunate to get money to create a kitchen garden, which is an amazing asset for the centre. The people who come to take part in that will probably have been associated with the statutory services, but they can come across and benefit from our services. So we're providing a holistic service in the centre, and that's the beauty of the partnership.
What is meant is that, first of all, there's a physical location where people with sight loss can come in. There's a cafe, they can come in just for a bit of socialisation. They can also come in to find out about aids and adaptations, make their life easier on a day-to-day basis. They can also come in and join some of the groups and activities that are sort of co-produced with blind parasight people. They're also able to access wider services and get signposted to some of the services RNIB might have. Having that local interaction allows people to be signposted and to be put in touch with people who run those services, which means they're maximising the local opportunity to engage and, you know, build a community and get involved and end social isolation. They can also get access to the wealth of services that RNIB provide, as well as indeed other organisations.
If you're looking at the community that use the centre, they get huge value out of it. It gives them somewhere to come to. You know, reduces the whole social isolation thing. They've got classes and everything that they can attend and get the most out of their lives, which is what you want to do. The fact that you do have the public sector in here as well, and the NHS, you can actually approach them directly if you've got any issues and say, listen, we're finding this in the local area, our service users have said this to us, you know, what can we do? Is there something happening we don't know about? And they're able to do something about it, you know, so that's quite good from that perspective.
I think it's fabulous, to be honest with you, because we also means the Forth Valley Sensory Centre and the partner organisations in it, they often talk to each other. So it means that we're regularly having to talk with, you know, Falkirk Council, Stirling Council, also with the Health Board, who obviously have got very different profile of resources and different responsibilities as we would as a charity, and as with the partnership as a sort of charity in itself. But often these different interests do align, and if we actually sit and talk together, we can often find we can pinch and sort of borrow little bits of each other's resources to actually magnify and increase the likelihood of these outcomes for all of us actually being met in a sort of professional manner. So it is undoubtedly good value for the resource that we put into it, and I'm sure you've had a look around the building. It's a fabulous building and a fabulous centre, so all coming together really does work in this instance. So I would definitely recommend it getting looked at elsewhere in the country.
To other areas, absolutely. Yeah, there's a definite benefit to working with other partners, and being able to tap into their skills and resources as well. Because with the greatest will in the world, you don't know everything. You might think you do, but you don't. And so it's nice to be able to have other people that you can talk to, bounce ideas off of, and say, well, we've come across this gap in services. Is there maybe something else we could be doing in order to address that gap? So you can actually work with other people. If you've got a shared objective and it's a strategic objective in terms of the government and what you're trying to drive through, the more partners you've got around the table that are trying to drive through the same thing, the more weight, it gives you more gravitas towards your campaign and what you're trying to do. So that's the value in partnership.
To be as open and honest with other organisations, accepting that everybody has their own priorities, but if there are ways that you can be open and share what your priorities are, and really encourage others to get involved and see it as an opportunity rather than as a threat, then that's fundamental to the success.
It's just communication, isn't it? I mean, organisations can always end up bumping gums about different things that happen, and it's really just trying to speak together, work together, and actually what we've found is through actually collaborating and doing joint project work and actually getting something done, you tend to get over those little potential sort of cold moments between different organisations, because you actually get to know the people in the organisation. It's not just emails you get or occasional phone call. You actually work together, you get to know each other. That makes things much easier in the long term to actually be able to deliver what actually matters, which is the people who want to come and access services in the local area.
It all comes down to communication. That is the top tip. You have to speak to each other and you have to be honest. You have to say this works for me or that doesn't work for me. And everybody needs to get something out of it.